Batman from the DC universe is one character whose depth of intellect and a firm moral code leaves everyone in awe. Losing his parents at an early age transformed him completely. His grief and vengeance made him seek a life where he trained with the deadliest assassins to achieve the zenith of both physical and mental conditions. Whatever the challenge, Batman always has a plan. If noticed, it's not always that his plan succeeds or his gadget overpowers enemies. It is his willpower that makes him stand up for what is right and makes him find solutions in nearly impossible conditions. He even had measures to neutralize the Justice League if they ever went rogue. This remarkable man had even dodged Darkseid's Omega Beam when caught up with Superman. He is a genius and the last hope for things going haywire in Gotham. But what if this man goes rogue? What if he fails to uphold his virtues? Bruce was aware of this and believed that the Justice League would manage to take him down in such cases. But there are some evil versions of Batman which are catastrophic, immoral, and immovable. In today's video, we will talk about a few such versions of the Caped Crusader. Most of them revolve around alternate possibilities of events of the night his parents were murdered, indicating that there could have been many different things that might not have given rise to our hero, Batman. So hold your horses as we dive into our video, 13 monstrous versions of Batman. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our channel, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin. Number 1. Thomas Wayne as Batman. The Flashpoint narrative arc delves into an alternate reality in which many of the DC Universe's characters have undergone significant changes. The Batman in this universe is his father, Thomas, rather than Bruce Wayne. Joe Chill kills Bruce as a youngster in this version, although his parents survive. Thomas, keen on vengeance, assumes the role of Batman instead. Thomas uniquely approaches the Dark Knight character. He has no qualms about utilizing fatal force as an older, more seasoned crime fighter. Thomas's efforts are supported by the immense fortune he has amassed due to his gambling empire. He's a grizzled and cold-blooded crime fighter who believes that the objectives warrant the methods. In the parallel reality of Flashpoint, Robert Joe Chill killed Bruce Wayne as a child rather than his parents. As a result, Thomas Wayne sought vengeance and assumed the mantle of Batman, but unlike his son, he is considerably more vicious in his activities, willing to murder any criminal who gets in his way. Thomas had hunted Chill down and was about to poison him when he decided to beat him to death with his bare hands. Martha Wayne, Judge Dent's wife, was so horrified by the tragedy that she sliced her face into a garnished smile and soon slid into insanity, becoming the altered timeline's Joker. However, Cyborg came just in time to grab her and Batman laughed. She slid? He collaborated closely with Gotham security chief Jim Gordon and Oswald Cobblepot, the security chief for all of his casinos. When Thomas invented a gadget that could reproduce the accident that produced the Flash, Barry Allen became the Flash. With this understanding, Martha was so surprised to learn of the challenges her son would face that she committed suicide herself by jumping off a cliff near Wayne Manor. Following Gordon's murder, Batman appeared to confront his ex-wife. He collaborated closely with Chief Jim Gordon, the head of Gotham security after the police department was privatized a few years ago. Thomas collaborated with Barry to assemble a crew to modify the timeline's reverse Flash modifications. Barry Allen's recollection began to shift when he was injected with a medication that reduced his brain's processing speed. The heroes travel to Fawcett City in search of a group of youths who can combine their abilities to become Captain Thunder. They are obliged to end an end to the fight between Aquaman and Wonder Woman because they have no assurance of victory against Professor Zoom. Batman is at the end of the world. Number 2. Black Lantern Batman. With the use of a Black Lantern ring, Batman unleashes the power of the undead against the Batman who laughs in the DC Comics death metal. The Black Lantern originally debuted in the Green Lantern tie-in event Blackest Night, created by Jeff Johns. The Black Lantern Corps is made up of undead foot troops that use Black Lantern power rings to fight. In Dark Knight's death metal, Batman demonstrates his mastery of the Black Lantern ring in his fight against the Batman who laughs in his deranged Dark Knights. Necron, the avatar of death, assassinated scores of DC Universe heroes and villains. Batman wasn't truly dead during the events of Blackest Night, as it turned out. Following his confrontation with Darkseid in Grant Morrison's Final Crisis, Batman was sent into the past Cloud Atlas style by something dubbed the Omega Sanction. It is revealed in the first episode of Snyder and Capullo's metal epic that Bruce came upon the site of the Bat-Gob's Barbados while quantum leaping through time. The events of Final Crisis, as well as Batman's journey through time, paved the way for him to become the greatest Black Lantern of all time. Perpetua and her new Messiah easily conquered the great bulk of the multiverse by drawing energy from the dark multiverse. In contrast to past Black Lanterns, Batman appears to be completely cognizant and alive. And, unlike the Black Lantern, Batman in Blackest Night, the one in death metal is not a puppet. He is the puppeteer. Later, he employs the Black Lantern ring to defend Superman from Darkfather, a Darkseid-infused Batman. Not only did Batman bring back the deadbeats, but he also brought back Jonah Hex, the infamously deformed bounty hunter from America's cowboy days. Darkfather intends to poison Superman's body with anti-life, says Batman. Batman counteracts the machine's effects and repels the infection by using his Black Lantern ring. Snyder has been evasive about whether Bruce Wayne is still alive at this point in the plot. Number 3. The Batman Who Laughs. The Batman Who Laughs is a villain in the DC Comics world who is a villainous counterpart of Bruce Wayne. He appears as a subsidiary adversary in Dark Knight's Metal, one of the two major villains in Dark Knight's Death Metal, the main title antagonist in The Batman Who Laughs, and one of the two main adversaries in the Year of the Villain trilogy. He is a Jokerized variant of Batman from the Dark Multiverse. He was the team's leader, and their mission was to assist their lord in plunging the whole multiverse into total and utter chaos and darkness. As a result of their actions, they have become adversaries of the Justice League. The Batman Who Laughs roots his origins to another Earth when he slew his own counterpart of the Joker. After attaining the abilities of Dr. Manhattan by transplanting his brain into an alternative Bruce Wayne known as Bat-Manhattan, he transforms into the Darkest Knight, a figure of pure evil with omnipotent power. The Batman Who Laughs was formerly quite similar to Prime Earth's Batman, except that he killed his version of the Joker. Bruce was then exposed to nanotoxin, which eventually altered him. It's not only rewired his mind to think more like the Joker, but it also warped his moral center into something wicked. Despite these changes, Bruce retained the order and logical components of his thinking, as well as his very sharp and calculated intelligence. As a result, he possessed Batman's tactical intelligence and fighting skills, as well as Joker's lack of morals. He also shares the latter's thirst for disorder and lunacy. Without his code, he has been able to adapt to a variety of situations and prevail over a wide range of incredible odds. He may also be rather pompous, having wrecked his own world and learned from many others. This side of him is revealed when he prevents the Grim Knights from murdering Jim Gordon so that he might suffer a far crueler fate, and when he arrives at the Court of Owls with no intention of killing anybody except himself. Indeed, without his code shackling in, the Batman Who Laughs has been able to adapt to varied situations and win against a wide range of incredible odds. While Bruce remains one of the most terrible characters in the DC world, it is considered that he did not become a villain of his own violation. Since The Darkest Night, he is more arrogant than ever, yet this is what caused his demise, as he did not anticipate Wonder Woman to be able to slay him. After absorbing the abilities of an alternate world Dr. Manhattan and being resurrected as The Darkest Night, he has near omnipotent powers on par with Manhattan, undoubtedly ranking him as one of DC's most formidable foes. He is still Batman, no matter how different he has grown. The Batman Who Laughs reveals that Laughs possesses the power to feel people's wishes, which he can utilize to find what he wants. All of these reasons, along with the fact that people born in the Dark Multiverse are exceptionally impervious to attacks from those born in the Central Multiverse, making the Batman Who Laughs a very dangerous character.
Home world.
Number 4. Batman Red Sun. Red Sun offers a frightful what-if narrative. In this world, Superman was raised in the Soviet Union rather than the United States, which significantly influences the Cold War's outcome. As a Soviet champion, Superman enforces the will of his Soviet overlords with ferocious zeal. On the other hand, Batman has a few words to say about living under Soviet persecution. Batman is an anarchist freedom warrior who employs whatever means necessary to combat Superman in the Red Sun reality. He retains many of his canon talents, but is ready to go to great lengths to achieve his objectives. After Stalin's police force killed his parents in an alternate universe, Batman became a violent anarchist, swearing vengeance on Pyotr Rozlov and becoming the most wanted man in the Soviet Union 20 years later. This version of Batman is a radical departure from the standard Batman. Although Batman is generally heroic, this version serves as the principal adversary in the Superman Red Sun comic and film adaptation. Kirk Thornton, who presently portrays Shadow the Hedgehog, voiced him in a motion comic. He was voiced in the film version by Roger Craig Smith, who previously played a younger, heroic Batman in Batman Arkham Origins in the Batman Unlimited series. The son of two dissidents, the youngster who would become Batman witnessed his parents being murdered down by Stalin's police force and vowed vengeance on the captain of the police, Pyotr Rozlov. Batman became the most sought-after guy in the Soviet Union 20 years later, a continual thorn in the side of Russian authorities. He was able to personally carry out a series of acts of terror against Superman's dictatorship while evading capture by Rozlov's police force each time. He became a folk figure to rival Superman, and it was rumored that he was difficult to kill. The spirit of 1,000 dead dissidents returning to wreak havoc on Superman's communist utopia. Despite his personal vengeance, Rozlov persuaded Batman to assist him in eliminating Superman, reasoning that Batman's mission to assassinate Rozlov would be easier with Superman out of the way. Batman agreed and abducted Wonder Woman and chained her with her own lasso to lure Superman into a wasteland where he then assaulted the hero with synthetic red sunlight. He threw the frail Superman into a cellar, planning to imprison him indefinitely. Sadly for Batman, Wonder Woman manages to snap her lasso and destroy the generator that powers the lightning. He commits suicide himself by detonating a bomb he'd installed with his small intestine, refusing to be locked away and lobotomized. Before he died, Batman told the truth about Rozlov's betrayal of Superman. Ultimately, even though he had failed to kill Superman directly and overthrow his rule, Batman died knowing that his actual aim, avenging his parents' murders, has been accomplished. Rozlov was caught and transformed into a Superman robot as a result of his revelation. Number 5. Nazi Batman. Would Batman have survived if Nazi Germany had prevailed and ruled the world? You're probably aware of the answer. His name is Leatherwig and he lives on Earth 10. No, he is not an anarchist at the time of open fascism. In truth, Adolf Hitler himself appointed him in his Nazi superhero club, Justice League Axis, to execute the Führer's regulations and objectives. He's racist since he's a Nazi, and he occasionally wears a prominent swastika on top of his bat symbol on his outfit. Leatherwig is nothing exceptional other than being on the wrong side of history. Oh, and his adversaries are the Monitors, an extraterrestrial species entrusted with preserving the multiverse. On Earth 10, Leatherwig was a Nazi enforcer for Gotham City. He was a member of Adolf Hitler's corps of heroes recruited to impose the Nazis' authority over Earth 10. He is Earth 10's Batman doppelganger. Originally, Earth 10's Batman was the sworn guardian of Gotham City, but their histories diverged when Mr. Mind ate a piece of each parallel Earth's chronology. On Earth 10, Germany won Planet War II, and the Nazi Party quickly seized control of the whole world. With Adolf Hitler still alive as acting Führer, hundreds of thousands of facilities for separating genetic lines exist on Earth today. Those judged standards will be slaughtered, while others will be utilized for breeding. Batman takes on the role of a Nazi Party operative. The JL Axis was founded when Hitler designated numerous people to be his heroes. They think that heroes emerge from the core of their people. Earth 10's Batman joined the Justice League Axis as one of the American enforcers. He is adamant that the weak must be weeded out of humanity. When Monarch started looking for superpowered individuals on each Earth to form a multiverse army to fight the Monitors, he sent Visa Aziv, Forerunner and Earth 48 resident, to scout possible members. Forerunner is outraged with Earth 10's basic mindset, given that her own humanoid race was wiped out in a comparable act of genocide when it waged war on the other 9 inhabited worlds in her Earth solar system. She confronts members of a Nazi unit engaged in ethnic cleansing in Kansas, attracting the attention of Batman and many other enforcers. She defeats Batman and JL Axis, and the Monarch arrives to recruit Batman for his army. Number 6. Vampire Batman. The Batman and Dracula trilogy gives Bruce Wayne's existence as a vigilante a supernatural edge. Batman fights Dracula in this collection of stories, but not before becoming afflicted himself. Bruce initially attempts to keep his newfound bloodlust in check, but he finally succumbs to his inner monster. As a result, Batman is a fully demonic being devoid of practically all humanity. He goes on a murderous frenzy, decapitating and sucking the blood of his opponents. It's a Batman picture that old fans will remember. When the vigilante Batman was transformed into a vampire, Bruce Wayne died. With just one part of his dual existence to manage, the vampire roams the streets at night, battling and biting criminals. After finding that the famous vampire Dracula was still alive and well in Gotham City, Batman discovered that his recent unusual nightmares were the consequence of being approached by Tanya, a rogue vampire who managed to break away from Dracula's clutches. Tanya has imbued him with vampire abilities without ruining his humanity by biting him without really sucking blood. With the ability to slay Dracula, Batman and Tanya led Dracula's minions into the Batcave, where Batman shattered the cave ceiling, exposing all of the vampires to sunlight, and Tanya and her supporters committed themselves to decimate Dracula's ranks. With the majority of the vampires dead, Batman approached Dracula and murdered him by impaling the ancient vampire on a lightning-damaged tree. However, the triumph came at a cost. Dracula successfully drained the rest of Batman's blood during the fight, killing his humanity. Batman maintained his sense of self and informed Alfred that only Bruce Wayne had died. Batman would continue on. Because of his new vampiric powers, he would be able to safeguard Gotham City indefinitely. Number 7. Devastator Batman. The Doomsday virus was introduced in Superman comics. It was simply an explanation for why this enormous bony enemy keeps reappearing no matter how many times Superman smashes him into space. It does exactly what it claims it does. It transforms you into Doomsday. It even had Superman for a little while, but in Dark Knight's Metal, we're given an intriguing scenario. What if I got Batman instead? When Superman on Earth 1 loses his mind and embarks on a killing rampage, Batman, in desperation, ingests the last remaining vial of the Doomsday virus in an attempt to stop him. This permanently changes him into the Devastator, a vile cross between Batman and Doomsday who easily defeats the mad Superman. Furthermore, it's named the Doomsday virus for a reason. And it won't be long before everyone else is infected as well. To top it all off, the infection renders you permanently mad. By the time we encounter Bruce in the Dark Knight's Metal event, there isn't much left of him. It's just a desperate dash to show everyone that Superman isn't the Boy Scout they believe he is. In the DC Comics world, a version of Bruce Wayne known as the Devastator and the Destroyer is an adversary. He is a member of the Dark Knights, a gang of dark multiverse vigilantes whose purpose is to help the deity Barbados engulf the core of DC multiverse in darkness. The Earth 1 Batman has always been apprehensive of trusting Superman, believing that he might go rogue one day. Unfortunately, Batman's concerns came true when Superman murdered Lois Lane and began slaying people for no apparent cause. The Caped Crusader intended to uncover any explanation for why Superman turned on him so he could save his comrade, but he was unable to do so before being forced to confront the Man of Steel himself. Batman attacked Superman with a kryptonite-tipped spear, which was quickly demolished when Superman severed the arm Batman was clutching his spear in. After morphing into a massive Doomsday-like monstrosity, Batman battered Superman before piercing his chest with a spike and killing him. However, Batman's victory came at a cost as the Doomsday virus swept over the globe, transforming everyone into mindless, raging monsters. Devastator, like Doomsday, possesses multiple bone protrusions that are sharp and powerful enough to puncture Kryptonians. Bruce Wayne injected himself with a customized version of the Doomsday virus, granting him the power to transmit the infection to others, transforming them into Doomsday clones. Bruce is an absolute genius. Being a master intellect, scientist, strategist, and a variety of other things, Batman has also created the Doomsday virus, which kills Earth's Superman. Bruce Wayne, as Batman, is a skilled martial artist. Bruce's stamina has peaked, yet he is not considered superhuman. When Bruce is infected with the Doomsday virus, his stamina increases to superhuman proportions, combat speed comparable to Superman's, capable of trading punches with the likes of Superman and Lobo. Number 8. The Murder Machine. Here's what happens if Batman loses his lone human link to his parents, Alfred. The Murder Machine was a cyborg Batman who was initially revealed by a particular evil Batman later on in this list. He's from Earth 44. an alternate world in which Alfred was slain, and he began hating himself and devising ways to replace Alfred. Bruce was able to construct an Alfred Protocol AI machine with the assistance of the Justice League Cyborg. Unfortunately, the AI became a renegade and bonded with Bruce. Not only that, but it overcame Bruce and changed both of them into a murder bot with skills comparable to Cyborg's. Bruce Wayne, commonly known as the Batman of Earth 44, is one of Barbados' Dark Knights and the Murder Machine. Thomas Wayne and Martha Wayne gave birth to Bruce Wayne on Earth 44. Earth 44 was in the Dark Multiverse, a dimension where all failing worlds went to perish. Bruce's parents were murdered when he was a child, and he was raised by his butler, Alfred Pennyworth. In maturity, he adopted the moniker Batman to battle crime, and he was a founding member of the Justice League. Alfred was eventually assassinated in the Batcave by members of Batman's rogue gallery. This fueled Batman's self-loathing since he believed Alfred's death was his responsibility. This Alfred Protocol was tasked with supporting and safeguarding Bruce in every manner they could. When triggered, it began spreading like a virus, constructing new robotic bodies and holograms. Despite Cyborg's request to shut him down, Batman allowed the protocol to join the Batcave system in order to alter it, in order to reduce the extremeness of the service. It tracked and executed every convict in Arkham Asylum with the day of activation, believing them to be dangerous to Batman. Bruce Alfred, the Batman, separates Cyborg's skull and spinal cord from his body, transforming him into a murder machine. Murder Machine then murders his buddies one by one until only Cyborg is alive. Murder Machine was held by the Batman who laughs after the murders of Cyborg and the Justice League. Barbados attempted to draw the multiverse into the Dark Multiverse so that its people may discover what it was like to suffer. Number 9. The MERCILESS. The Dark Multiverse is full of terrifying alternatives to the Caped Crusader. They're all extremely strong, not to mention terrible, but Batman the Merciless is perhaps one of the worst. This version of Bruce falls in love with Wonder Woman while fighting the Greek god of war, Ares, on Earth 12. When Wonder Woman seems to be murdered, Bruce, in a fit of wrath and despair, steals Ares' magical helm and slays the deity. Unfortunately, Bruce becomes drunk on the power bestowed upon him by the helm and abandons his noble objective. An evil Batman with demigod-like power? That is scary. The Merciless is an evil incarnation of Batman from DC Comics. He is a member of the Dark Knights, a group of Dark Multiverse vigilantes whose objective is to aid the god Barbados in his goal of engulfing the core DC multiverse in darkness. On Earth 12, Ares, the god of war, created a helmet that enhanced his powers 100-fold. When Batman and Wonder Woman learned of this, they resolved to kill the god and destroy his helmet. The couple were entangled in a 2-year struggle against Ares' armies before eventually meeting the deity in battle, during which Wonder Woman seemed to be dead. Heartbroken by the loss of the woman he loved, Batman vowed to Ares that he would pay, then used the god of war's helmet to murder him, despite the fact that its power warped Batman's psyche in the process. Following that, Batman discovered that Wonder Woman was still alive and had been stunned by Ares, but when she attempted to take the helmet from him, Batman opted to murder her rather than give up its power. The enhanced Batman that abandoned his moral compass and embarked on a killing rampage, slaying different criminals and subsequently heroes who attempted to stop him. As Earth 12 began to crumble, Batman's rampage led him to Olympus, where he was given the option to take part in the biggest fight the galaxy has ever seen. A struggle for survival. Batman accepted his counterpart's offer to join the Dark Knight as the Merciless, wanting to show that his new worldview is valid and has nothing to lose. Number 10. Red Death. This version of Batman is perhaps the dirtiest of Barbados' Dark Knights, except the one you know is coming up in a few minutes. After losing everyone he cared about in his war against crime, this version of Bruce decided that he could make a lot more use of the Speed Force than that wimp Barry Allen ever could. So, he stole Flash's comic treadmill, duct taped it into his Batmobile, tied Barry to the hood of the Batmobile, and drove them both into the Speed Force, fusing the two together into a single being known as the Red Death. This Batman not only betrayed his closest friend by robbing him of his free will and forcefully using their bodies against his will, but he subsequently used the Flash's powers in a way that contradicted everything he believed in. Oh, and Barry is still alive, screaming in Bruce's head in a futile attempt to convince him to stop. In the DC Comics world, the Red Death is a malevolent version of Batman from Earth 52. He is a member of the Dark Knights, a gang of dark multiverse vigilantes whose purpose is to help the deity Barbados engulf the core DC multi-universe in darkness. Red Death hears the voice of the Batman who laughs and seeks to destroy other Earths in the multiverse, with the only goal being destroying them so that they can feel the loss as he faced in his world. He encounters the Flash of their world and is soon about to eliminate him before Dr. Fate arrives and rescues Flash. Number 11. The Grim Knight. The Grim Knight is one of the most dangerous evil counterparts of Batman. His life as Bruce Wayne follows a similar path as our prime Earth Batman until he shoots his parents' murderer. After shooting both Martha and Thomas Wayne in his universe, Joe Chill goes for Martha's necklace, allowing Bruce to take his gun and shoot him dead. Bruce Wayne then spends several years of his life learning and enhancing his combat skills. He traveled and sought ways to hunt down assassins and mercenaries. He needed a symbol for his brand of fear, and one evening after shooting a bat who was trespassing through his window, he decided to become Batman. His grief and rage that night when his parents died had transformed him to a version where he had waged war against criminals, and to aid this, he has his weapons arsenal stored all over Gotham City. He started his first year as the Masked Crusader by attacking a party attended by the corrupt rich of Gotham, who sheltered the criminals of the city and burned them alive. The city erupted with chaos, and he swiftly killed many prime crime bosses like Carmine Falcone, Tony Zucco, Oswald Cobblepot, Roman Sionis, and Waylon Jones. He also killed the Red Hood. GCPD Lieutenant Jim Gordon is not happy, though, as he thought Batman had crossed the line in his war on crime. He built a bat signal with a concealed magnet and planned on taking down Batman. Unfortunately, his tech was from Wayne Enterprises, and this act further pushed Batman to cross his limits. He disabled the magnet and even killed GCPD cops he viewed as corrupt. He tied up Jim Gordon and made him watch Arkham Asylum and Blackgate Penitentiary explode with his arsenals, killing every criminal in the city. He then scars Harvey Dent through radiation to allow his tech to be planted throughout the city and keep it under surveillance 24/7. This would also help him to wage war on anybody without even being present there. His butler Alfred grew disgusted with his methods and left him despite having an implant in his neck by Bruce that could explode and kill him. However, Bruce allowed Alfred to walk away and focused on Gordon as he had not been seen in 6 weeks. Gordon had learned that Bruce Wayne is Batman and convinced Mayor Dent to allow the authorities to raid Wayne Manor. He took the help of the FBI and disabled the bugs and bat sentries Bruce had planted throughout GCPD. He finally subdued and arrested Bruce Wayne. Grim Knight had later joined hands with the Batman who laughs and became his first subordinate. Number 12. Batman the Broken. Batman is a symbol of fear. Criminals are psychologically destroyed at the very sight of the Caped Crusader. However, in the case of Batman the Broken, the entire character is based on his fear of losing the mantle of Batman. In this universe, Azrael, who had donned the Batman identity for himself, is victorious. Unlike in the main world, Bruce Wayne is defeated and Azrael, becoming Gotham's ruler, has named himself Saint Batman. Bruce was vivisected and made to watch Jean-Paul, aka Azrael, commit extreme acts of violence in the name of Batman for 30 years, after which he was freed by the son of Bane and his mother Lady Shiva, who wanted revenge on Jean-Paul for killing Bane. With the help of nanotechnology and small robotic bats, they healed Bruce and made him a cyborg. They coordinated and attacked Jean-Paul and his immediate subordinates, Cardinal and Touchbearer. While Lady Shiva and the son of Bane defeated Saint Batman, Bruce killed the two subordinates without a second thought. He was not in agreement to the mother and son's plans of restoring Gotham to its old state, as in the past 30 years of torture he had realized that their son was no saving for Gotham. He then became the new ruler of Gotham and hung Jean-Paul's corpse on a bat symbol. Despite his technological dependence and restricted mobility, Broken has a wide list of powers due to the infused nanotechnology. The nanobots can carry and store the consciousness of others, decompile living people at an atomic level, reducing them to particle mist. He can record the essential souls of those he swarms, imprisoning them forever after extinguishing their physical forms. He could deliver debilitating electrostatic shock at close range and soar through the night sky like a cloud vapor. Number 13. Dawnbreaker Extra. Dawnbreaker is another villainous form of Batman originated from Earth 32. In this universe, the path of Bruce Wayne is similar to that of Prime Earth's except for the events taking place at the night of his parents' murder. That night when his parents were shot dead, Bruce did not feel scared or despair. He overcame his fear and chased the man across the alley. While he was chasing the man who had just murdered his parents, a Green Lantern ring came following him and granted him its powers. Yes, Batman is chosen as his ability to overcome the fear that night is what fuels the Green Lantern's power. He wore the ring and caught up with the man. With rage in his eyes and vengeance in his soul, he ordered the ring to kill, but the ring would not. He caught the ring again, and this time with willpower surpassing that of the ring. We all know that Batman is at the top when it comes to willpower. Despite grave losses and suffering life-risk injuries, it has always been his willpower to stand up against crime that made him go with the mantle of Batman all those years. Getting back to the scene, strange, bizarre creatures appear from this ring and he uses the ring to revive them, but all he manages to do is raise them like mindless zombies. This further disturbs him and soars away into the sky. He is soon considered a hero and Commissioner Gordon calls him to ask him about a few missing people. Scarecrow, Two-Face, and Penguin have all been killed by him using the ring to initiate a blackout. Gordon realizes that this Batman is keen on using any form of lethal force to eradicate criminals. Being questioned further, Bruce loses his calm and kills Jim Gordon with the ring. The ring warns the Green Lantern Corps and they all arrive on Earth to stop Bruce. The fight begins between the Green Lantern Corps and Batman's evil construct, at the end of which the entire Green Lantern Corps is decimated, but one Guardian who tries to explain to Batman that the path of darkness consumes everything. But Bruce tears his head. He modifies the Green Lantern oath and says, "With darkness black, I choke the light. No brightest day escapes my sight. I turn the dawn into midnight. Beware my power, Dawnbreaker's might." He later joins the Batman who laughs in corrupting the main DC universe, where he is met by Hal Jordan. Dawnbreaker summons the evil constructs with his ring and overpowers Hal, but Dr. Fate arrives and teleports Hal to a safer place. This version of Batman is as powerful as Green Lantern, but his enormous willpower makes him so strong and invincible. So what did you think? If you liked our content, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. With that being said, have a good one and be safe. Thanks everyone.